Ever since I can remember, I have always been this anxious, uptight perfectionist. I can always remember racing through life. How much can I get done? How much can I fit into my day? How can I work faster? How much sleep can I forgo and get more done? And over the years, I ended up being this anxious ball of energy. And I didn't know any different. It was suddenly my baseline. My nervous system had re-regulated itself to being in such a tightly wound state of being in fight or flight response, of my sympathetic nervous system firing all the time. And somehow I had managed to rewrite my baseline to this heightened state. So suddenly I would wake up every day and I would reach for the 4 shots of coffee to reach that state of anxious, built up, energetic living that felt so normal to me. When I was younger, I was in a very volatile, violent relationship that I spent 16 years in total, but 9 years predominantly in this very anxious, walking on eggshell state, where I could easily sense the change in atmosphere by the feel of the air in the room. My hairs on the back of my neck would often stand up in anticipation of what was about to happen, or my heart would start racing out of my chest and I would almost have a panic attack at the things that I was enduring. And so being in that heightened state for so many years, my body recalibrated itself to that being its normal. I had memory loss and heart palpitations. I was very reactive, very jumpy. I would often strive to overachieve, and I was a through and through perfectionist. I could be very, very controlling, not with other people, but with myself, because I was so hard on myself. But the heart palpitations would often cause me to hold my breath in this freeze response. But what I realized was the way I was also living my life was feeding these habits, feeding this state of being. And so there are certain things that I have implemented in my life to really calm the nervous system, to come out of this fight or flight response, to really start enjoying life for what it is and taking the time to recalibrate your nervous system, which has been the most beautiful thing that I have done. Even now, I'm still working on it, and the beauty of it is that I can notice when I'm unregulated, when I'm ungrounded, when I need to pull back from certain things. And honestly, I was missing so much of my life because I was just wrapped up in this ball of energy where I would cry at any second or be so reactive that I would have to claw down off the ceilings. I often felt really unsafe all the time. And I would go into workouts and it was almost like I was punishing myself. I would be full out, full pelt. My headphones had to be blasting in my ears. I would take pre-workout, so even before I got to the gym, my heart was racing. But it felt so normal to me because that was the state that I'd been constantly living in for years. Until it came to a point when I was having such painful heart palpitations that something had to stop. Something had to stop. Because I was living in a state of fear, constant fear. So let me go through the 5 toxic traits that I quit to heal my nervous system. The first toxic trait that I quit to heal my nervous system is restrictive eating, dieting, calorie counting, and being in that diet culture. When you are constantly tracking and gauging and restricting your body of nutrients and vitamins that it is needing, if you are constantly ignoring your body's signals, your body's hunger signals, your body is going to be and go into fight or flight response. And automatically that is going to create a heightened nervous system with so much attention and focus on what your body looks like and how you can shrink it, what you need to change about it, what is not right with it. There's so much attention on lack and what you're not and where you're not yet. And being in that culture, in that way of thinking, is soul destroying. I spent 20 years of my life with an eating disorder, starting at the age of 14. So I know exactly how it feels to be wrapped up in diet culture and body validation. And it is soul destroying. It steals all of your thoughts and all of your thinking every minute of the day, because you are constantly thinking of what is my next meal? What am I allowed to eat? What did I not track? What is this going to do for me? What? And it's just debilitating. It is debilitating. So the first thing I quit is diet culture and learning to listen to my body and eat when I'm hungry and not when I'm not hungry. And it's taken me absolutely years. But if I can suggest one thing, it is to quit diet culture. The second thing that I have quit in order to regulate my nervous system is my coffee intake. And this is something that I am constantly working on. It is the last thing, the last nail in the board that I am removing, and it is a struggle, let me tell you. But I was so used to feeling so heightened, so responsive, so energized by this buzzing state, and coffee gives me that. The problem is that I was having 4 shots of coffee in one coffee 3 times a day. So by 3 p.m, my mind, my body was buzzing. I wouldn't sleep. If I can suggest anything to re-regulate your nervous system, is to really minimize the amount of caffeine in general that you are consuming. Because if caffeine is creating this nervousness and this heightened sense in your nervous system, it is triggering the sympathetic nervous system. So minimizing it, or having caffeine free, or having tea or something else, or creating a ritual around having herbal tea instead, has been something that I'm really going to look into. But reducing or quitting coffee is the second toxic trait that I quit. The third toxic trait that I have quit to heal my nervous system is not being available all the time. And by this I mean being constantly accessible with texts, emails, phone calls, really creating a space for myself and a container where maybe for a few hours of the day I'm not contactable, that I don't need to be thinking that someone needs me or that I need to respond to something, because chances are when your phone goes off, we instantly look at it. It's like a reactive state. It's a response. An email comes through, a text comes through, a notification comes up on your phone, and you constantly go to look at it. And then for the next hour or however long it takes you to respond, it's in the back of your mind. It's like a nagging to-do list that is just constantly there in the back of your mind. So what I do is I put my do not disturb on from 9 o'clock at night till 10 o'clock the next morning. And maybe you can't do that because you've got elderly parents that need you. But what I find is that it gives me that freedom. It gives me that sense of space where no one's going to contact me and I don't need to contact anyone. I don't need to respond to anyone. And during the day, I will do that also for maybe 2 hours or 3 hours, or leave my phone somewhere else where I am free from it. And it gives me that space in order to calm and truly be where I am and not feel the need that I need to be doing something all the time. It's helped me to settle and be where I am instead of my mind racing and needing to be somewhere else, which is sparking the fight or flight response because I'm thinking of things I need to do and really I'm relaxing, or I'm reading a book, or I'm outside right now and I feel guilty because I should be doing something else. So that is the third toxic trait that I have quit to heal my nervous system. The fourth toxic trait that I have quit to heal my nervous system is racing around and time constraint. I was always the person who wanted to get the most done in the least amount of time. I would go into a workout like it was a war and I was going to battle. I would walk in, my headphones would already be on, the music would already be blasting. I wouldn't make eye contact with anyone because I was in there to do a job. I was going full pelt, and it would be almost like I was pushing myself to see how much I could get done in that hour and a half. And if I made eye contact, or if I spoke to someone, or if I took a pause, I was wasting my time there. And I was also the same with studying. When I was studying to be an accountant, I had a revision schedule where every hour or every half an hour, I knew what I was revising that night. So from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., I was regimented with what I was studying, and it was to the minute that I would switch topics, or I would have my tea in a certain time slot and I had to finish it in that time. All this time pressure. And it led on to me being in this mindset that I had no time to do anything, which was creating this tension in my body and often this cloudiness in my mind. I couldn't think straight. I couldn't retain information. I couldn't remember things. I was forgetting things all the time. And it's because my internal state was so tightly wound with tension that I couldn't think of anything else. I couldn't think of anything else. So when I started really allowing myself time, really trying to talk myself out of it and realize that I have plenty of time on this earth, all we have is time. And it'll all be okay. It will be okay because there's always tomorrow. And that I don't need to be this perfectionist that fits everything into an hour. That there's more to life. And I kept reminding myself of that there's more to life, that I don't need to be this tightly wound ball of energy that is forgetting what someone's told me 5 minutes ago. And it really has created this calmness and created this way of being where I now go about my day at my speed. And nothing in life is worthwhile if you are pushing and racing and punishing yourself, and you are suffering because of it. We are not made to live in this heightened, dysregulated state. And the fifth toxic trait that I quit to heal my nervous system is media consumption. Being someone that is on social media, that is on YouTube, that is very much aware of how much content is being produced every second of every day. I am very selective and very cautious with the amount of media that I take in and I ingest. Even down to the fact that I won't watch the news. So if the world is burning down, someone is going to have to contact me and tell me, because I won't know. Because I find that I am so sensitive to it. I never understood why they would put the news, which is full generally of bad news going on in the world, at 10 o'clock at night, just before you go to bed, so that you've got all those negative, stress-induced, worrying thoughts running through you just before you want to go to sleep. I never understood that. But I find that if I'm scrolling social media, or if I'm looking through YouTube, or if I'm even listening to too many podcasts, it can be really cloudy to my judgment. You can start comparing yourself, you can start ingesting so much media that it creates that nervous energy. The rate with which you flick through reels, all bombarding you with different information. And I find that I'm quite sensitive to being overstimulated with information. So I really monitor how much I'm on there. And that's usually because I'm posting something. Very rarely will I sit and scroll through social media. So if you're my friend and I don't like any of your posts, this is the reason why. I am very, very cautious with how I feel, because I don't want to feel that I'm comparing myself, or that I'm less than, or that I feel shame or guilt about something. So I'm very, very cautious with that. And that is the fifth thing that I have quit, toxic trait that I have quit to heal my nervous system.
If anything I have mentioned in this video resonates with you, if you have found any of these 5 toxic traits that I have quit helpful at all, or if you have any more suggestions, I would love to hear them in the comments. I am always looking for new ways to settle my nervous system and re-regulate myself. And also, if you have found any of the topics I have mentioned today touching on a wound, or touching on any sort of past trauma or dysregulated patterns and ways of being, I would love to hear from you. I offer one-to-one somatic sessions and would love to connect and talk more about the services I offer and how they have truly changed my life. But thank you for watching. I will see you in another video soon.